Okay, are we believe we are live? Hello, chat. Let me know. Oh. Okay. Oh, are we? Sounds good. Good for once. Sorry, I was out to hear it. Went through. How is it going, everyone? Purple goop, cornbread, Javier Portello. Are we live? What's happening? Oh, we are. Okay, made it. Austin, purple. Okay, see people. Sorry. I was like, wait, did it freeze? Okay, Javier Bartello, Cornbread, Austin, Ryan Walterson, Purple Goop, a guy named Crystal. Hello, everyone. How is it going? Sinram. Sinram is a vampire now? Knives Out guy. Not sure what that meant. Anyway, Nathaniel Foga, how are we doing? I'm going to send out the tweet. Send out the Raven. Is that a reference to Game of Thrones? I don't know. I wouldn't know. Live from New York, Saturday, mid to late evening. Nice one. Hello, Ashley R. How are you doing? Uh, yeah, we are live. Fuck yeah! So I have a new. This is going to be a crazy show. I feel like I should just switch to the new show. Well, let me get all situated. Hold on. Okay. I feel good now. Okay. Hello, welcome to the new shot of Movie Crap Live. I guess this is. I'm not sure if I'll keep this, but this is what we're doing. Uh oh, you have an office Christmas party? I didn't know that. Congratulations, and I hope it was pretty good. But yeah, this is. I'm not shooting in a kitchen, which is amazing. Oh, it's a little dark on my eyes. I guess I should have had changed the light there. Can I turn that light? Oh, I didn't think of that. Anyway, I guess it'll just be like this. Maybe my instinct is to change it, but we're live, so fuck it. Anyway, fuck it, it's live. I am kind of gonna keep the beard probably. I am gonna keep the beard. I don't know if you notice, dad face era. Exactly. Hello, ooh, and Baron von Penguin. Yeah, it is treating me pretty well. I think it's treating me pretty well. But yeah, it's it's holiday season. There's a lot to do. I think everyone's kind of feeling that uh bizarro Jim. I've heard a couple of people say that. um I think it's a crazy time, holidays and all that. But yeah, I don't think I have too much big things. There's a big kind of more channel announcements. I'm going to get to those at the top of the show. I'm going to talk about the big thing, the big tweet this week pretty soon. But before we do that, let's let's show off the super. So I was gonna get the Rock energy drink again because I feel like the Rock's very much in the news this week. But I got sick on Friday and I did not get it before Friday. In my head, I was like, I'm gonna get it on Friday, and then yeah, it didn't happen. So I have a different one, and this is one I don't know if people know this, and I don't know what it's gonna taste like, but it's the Ted Lasso pre-game energy drink, which probably means I should have had it before. But yes, I found this around me. It was gonna happen eventually that we were gonna get Ted Lasso drink in here. So that is the drink. I do not know what this tastes like. I do not know if it's good or bad or anything. Hopefully, it's better than Ted Lasso season two, which is fine, but like not as good as the first. Let's all be honest. Anytime people defend it, I'm always like, it's not good. I mean, well, it's fine. It's just like the one with beard. Anyway, um, yes. I'm trying to think. Gotten into the well. I want to talk about video stuff, but I kind of want to keep that to one segment. So if everything. But first off, if anyone is new, I've been getting a lot of subscribers this week, and I know because of the shorts and other things. If you are new here and if this is your first time watching, hello, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Or if you've never subscribed until recently, because I notice there's some people who've known me for a lot of things and never subscribed until just now, I guess. Um, Thank you for being here and thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoy it. Um, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, it's Christmas. Christmas is coming up. That is exciting. We have the tree up. Uh, Stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of like YouTubey news. I should just get to that. But before, I actually, and I do really would like super chats, and I appreciate that. And those always directly help the channel. However, I actually, again, for the second time ever, have a sponsor. I'm not joking. And it is a good way to help the channel is Hotspot Shield and Ultrafast VPN. They have 115 different locations and servers around the world. It's a great Christmas gift if you're like, hey, what should I get for my mom, for example? And she always seems to get hacked for no reason. Then this is a great one, as well as if you're looking for stuff in different countries and stuff like that. So there's a link. I think it's the first or second link in the description. Go down there, click on it. It helps support the channel. If you cannot do a super chat during the show and you want to support in some way, it's a great way to do it. And you get something for someone. So I want to thank the people at Hotspot Shield. That's very nice of them for sponsoring the show. That's really cool. And yeah, but it's a great way to support the show and help help me out and also get a good VPN, as they're considered a very good one from what I've read. I actually read up on the reviews. I'm very happy to be associated with them. So thank you very much for that. No, I had the painting thing, whatever. But yeah, it's a great way to support the show, and also it's only $3. I think they have plans locations for only $2.99 or $3 a month. And if you want to do French Netflix or something like that, or anything other things to preserve your shows, I think it would be a great way to do that, as well as just protect yourself, because I think almost everyone's getting hacked nowadays. I did do Audible, but no one ever used it, so so it never became much. Anyway, what was I going to say? But this one's a good one, I think, for a little bit. So if you want to come back to it, that would be cool. All right. But it's a good, if you're heading to someone's house and you're like, I need a Christmas present, be like, I set you up for I set you up for Hotspot Shield, and I will put you on it right now, Mom. She'll probably like, I don't really understand it, and be like, you don't have to get hacked. That would be cool. Oh, and hello, Goman Doll. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, but it's a live gym. It is a live gym. All right. So, and I will do the Twitter, Patreon stuff after this part. I wanted to like break it up a little. But also, sorry. One last Hotspot Shield thing. If you sign up for Hotspot Shield, especially if you do it after the show, then say something in the comments, and I will definitely answer your question. I will answer your question most times anyway, but I will especially answer your question if you do. So try to interact and like let me know if you did and how you like it and all that stuff in the comments below to this video. All right. Oh, hello. Whoa. 2J723 for the first super chat for the Ted Lasso energy drink. Hello. Is my mom still worried about viruses? Probably. Oh shit. I think this is blue. All right, 2J723, sup, Jim? Home Alone 3 or Santa Claus 3? Cheers to you. This is very fizzy. It does not, despite this, does not taste like tea. I was a little worried. It just tastes like a regular energy drink, and it is blue. Okay. It's Korean. I can't pronounce it either. To Gumin Dal, I guess. Anyway, that's cool. All right. Tunjay723 asks, Sup Jim, Home Alone 3 or Santa Claus 3? I have seen both, but I want to say this, and hello Jacob Shelter. Home Alone 3 has far more critical acclaim. I mean, that's not a joke, by the way. That is a real, let's put this mic up. That's a real thing. Home Alone 3 got a good review from Roger Ebert. I only saw Home Alone 3 mostly because the post office I always had to go to would always play it on the TV for some reason. So I've seen it mostly in line at the post office. But yeah, I would say Home Alone 3. I'm going to say Home Alone 3 is better than the Santa Claus 3. I've only seen Santa Claus 3 once, and I don't think I paid attention that well. But all right. So there's a lot of channel stuff because it's the end of the year. I kind of want to talk about what's going to happen next year. But I think what's on everyone's why is there what? Okay. What's on everyone's, hold on. I want to have the chat here. I want to have this here. Okay. So obviously if you saw on Twitter, both myself and I want to speak for me, but it's not just me. Both myself and Izzy have left the Pizza Party podcast. Um, there's no real. I'm not really upset, but it is definitely like not the podcast I used to be on. It's like this different thing now. It was sort of rebooted without our consent, and then I did it once. It was fine, but it's just sort of like not the same thing anymore. And I think it was hard for me even to. I was invited a couple times, and they were like, "You can come on anytime you want," and that is true. But it's not the same vibe. It's just not the same thing. I enjoyed the one I was on to a certain extent, but I just didn't see myself doing it long term anymore. Um, because the group I loved is just not. It's just not the same, and I wasn't thrilled about uh the whole reboot situation. So it just was becoming something else, and I think it was just time to duck out in that terms. I did speak to Pan, and before I tweeted it out, and I had known for a while I was probably going to do that, but I also hey, how's it popping? I also like I think Izzy and I are kind of on the same page as that, but I really didn't want to. I didn't want it to seem like when I don't know. I like how he did it. I just didn't want anyone to think like Izzy left and I was cool with it, even though I wasn't. And I should have maybe said something earlier. I don't know. That was sort of my motivation, but not in the way that like it's her fault or anything. It was something I had really been thinking. I need to formalize this independently of her. But Izzy and I are still very close. But it's a different thing. And I'm not really furious at Pan or something. I have a sneaking suspicion you will see us together at some point. But I've also been invited to go on POS and on Animat. These things are happening in I believe on Twitter in public. So I don't know if I'll be a mainstay. I'm considering maybe something other podcast thing at some point. Uh Sorry, I just saw this comment. That was epic. That was amazing. But yeah. Oh, it's true, Austin. I would go on your podcast again, by the way. So that was funny, Izzy. That was funny. Epic entrance. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I think if you like the ones, then they were good times. I really love that group. I think there's like I'll say this and I'll end it, and I hope this doesn't make anyone cry, but I think um I think a lot of people, oh, you're just, a bunch of friends with a podcast or something when you might hear about that. But I think the difference I would say is we were really close. It was, an amazing friendship, an amazing connection. And there's not many people in my life outside of my family who I can say like, I love you too genuinely. Like most of my phone calls with them and that way. So I think, if anything, I think it's an amazingly strong connection to an amazing group of people, and I'm very thankful to have had that in my life. And I also want to say, most of you would not know who I am without Pan, and I want to thank him for that, and I will continue to because, in all seriousness, like I was kind of in obscurity. My YouTube career was going more into classic movies at the time. It's not a joke. It was very different in 2014 before he showed up and like plucked me out, and I thank him for that because look at my life on YouTube and also like the friends I have, like Saber and Paleo and Izzy and Nolan and like so many people I would not know them. So yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about my actual channel now, but things that are happening in the next year, and these are cool things. Some of these will be in the topics we discuss. This is not all just like Jim's YouTube live stream. We're gonna move on after this segment, but it was nice to meet you too, Nathaniel Fogo, by the way. First off, the journal videos have been sort of a mess since COVID because I wasn't sure how I would do them with us being inside all the time. Would they work, even though I kept shooting them? And so now we have this weird thing where we have the 2021 videos and then we have the current videos. There's like 3 May, June, and July. I'm gonna just do those, and at the end of January, I hope to have them. But at the end of January, no matter what, thank you all. By the way, before I just move on, I know I'm just moving on, but everyone's being amazingly nice and amazingly awesome in the chat, and I want to thank you all for that. You guys are a great audience, and these are all I don't a lot of amazing uh messages of support, and I thank you all for that. But to actually move on, I know the journal videos are not everyone the most popular, but I'm going to wrap up the 2021 ones, and then so that hole will be shrunken. But then I'm just going to have at the end of January you'll get December 2022, and so there'll be a hole, but it won't be as far away, and you can see Oscar in the videos and stuff because obviously he's not in 2022. Oh, thank you, Izzy. That was amazing. I feel like I should have just read. Anyway, so that is that's what's going on with that. But first, I have a super chat from Austin who says, "You're the best. You're the best, Jim and Izzy, Team Jizzy." Yes, cheers to you. You did so. I think you spelled it right. I'm sort of into this. I don't know. So that's what's going on with that. You'll see that throughout the next month. The other thing, well, let's build to it. Nice, Izzy. I hope you guys like this chair. I kind of just moved on. This is a new shot. My wife got this chair just this week. Or she ordered. I mean, it's like, you know. And so I kind of like this setup. I have a study pillow behind me because it's like I don't want to like lean back, but I want to have some back support and stuff. So I like. Does anyone like this shot? I didn't bring it up enough. I think it's pretty cool. And this chair is comfy. This is the comfiest seat I've had in a live stream ever. Um, anyway, sorry. So the other things are I'm doing shorts more. I think people seem to really like the almost directed but didn't. There's a lot of Spielberg ones coming up. I do plan on doing Del Toro, which will probably be a multi-part series, and other directors and actors as well. So I'm excited for that series. That's going to just continue, I think, like weekly because there just seems to be such momentum behind it. It's also on my TikTok, and I might make a separate Instagram because it always feels weird to put that kind of content on my Instagram. But that's a whole other thing. Don't worry about that now. But if you want to follow me on TikTok, and it's on YouTube, YouTube's probably the best place to subscribe. I know I'll say that later. Um, the the oh hey Cadbot. So if you notice, the Willow show is out, and I haven't done a segment on it. A couple people had asked if I was going to do that, and what I'm going to do is I noticed when I do episode reviews on live streams, it's sort of people didn't care as much unless I do episode reviews of things like Mystery Science Theater. So I was going to do season reviews. So Willow will be the first one of those, probably for the Marvel Star Wars stuff. What I'll continue to do. Oh, thank you, Izzy. So Willow, I'm going to do that with. Will be the first one, and also I'm going to do reviews of each of the seasons of X-Men, the animated series leading up to X-Men 97. I'm not sure when that's going to start. That'll be this next year. And this is kind of the bigger announcement. And I will get into the sight and sound list on here. I know that. Buster, are you okay? Sorry, sometimes he has little, but Toulouse is comforting him. The other cat is, anyway. But he often doesn't like me comforting him, so it's a weird. Anyway, he's okay. He's okay. Okay, sorry. It's never. Okay, hold on. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay. He's okay. He's okay. He's okay. He's. It's not a great thing, but it just unfortunately happens. Okay, he is. He is good. Don't worry. Anyway, this is the big thing. He was too excited, probably. He's watching on like I haven't interrupted the stream, and he's looking like, how can I interrupt the stream? And he got anxious. Um, but he is okay. Maybe he can't wait back. Okay, so this is actually a shirt from Target, but it's like, anyway, I like it a lot. the Sight and Sound list came out. I've seen about over 70 of those. Hello, Nina Garcia. And I kind of looked at that and went, I've done the AFI list, I've done other great film lists, and I did the best rap albums list, and a lot. And I've listened to most of those. There's a couple I hadn't, and I actually really like doing that. It's a good way to discover new films and stuff. And I was like, I don't get to review enough classic stuff on here. So what I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be a slow series of all of them because it's not as time sensitive. I'm going to do the films on Sight and Sound I haven't reviewed yet or haven't seen. There are about 20 some movies. When I start that, I'm going to start that with the film that was number one, which is name I always mispronounce. But the one that's number one, which I haven't seen, will be the first one. And I know the second one will be A Man Escaped. But there will also be a Discord element where I'll put the whole list of films I haven't seen in a Discord channel. And so you can see which ones I haven't seen. You can catch up. I might, when I finish one, tell you what the next one is, something like that. But we'll see about that. As well as, and there's an extra element to this. I went through every top 10 that Sight and Sound ever did. And I was like, which ones of these have I not seen? So it's maybe a little closer to 30 because there's certain films that like were at one time considered best films of all time. One that particularly confuses me is um that is the cat who likes problem solvers. Is this one Louisiana Story? Never heard of it. I'm very curious about all those. So, I'm going to put when that starts, it'll probably start in like February, March. There'll be that, and yeah, but I know the first two will be uh, Jean Denis, I think, and then A Man Escape because I honestly kept putting that off for like 10 years. I've like had it on Netflix when I had discs for way too long. I ran it from the library. I never seemed to be able to watch that movie, so I was like, it really the second one has to be A Man Escape. It's not me picking like, oh, this will be an easy one because it's like a kind of thriller thing. It's honestly just because like I need to check that off the list at this point. So that's going out with that. That's everything. I hope you like the shorts. I'm trying to do a different thing, by the way, that with the liminal scenery stuff, as well as those. I didn't want to do like what Paleo's doing or what Animat's doing. I want to do my own thing, and I'm happy. I feel like I have. Maybe I haven't, but that was the critical thinking of that. Okay, but that's the deal with what's going on with the channel in 2023. I just thought I'd do a since I'm doing all these things and I feel like I need to address them, address other stuff. And I know I'm pre-announcing a few of those, but I thought, hey, that's what's coming out. So if you recently, I know I've been getting, I always because of the flyers and the stickers and other stuff, I get a ton of new subscribers, and I thought I'd be like, hey, this is what's to be hyped for. This is what's to be fucking hyped for. I'm sorry we've taken so long, a really long time in this chat. How long have we been streaming? Oh no, 20 minutes. We haven't talked about Barbie yet. I'm losing everyone. All right, so let's do let's do this. This and everything I do is pretty much, other than the cool VPN thing this time, is supported by you, the fans, basically. Either through super chats where I drink this amazing. Wait, I should have my. I do not. I need my camera. I don't know what the amazing Ted Lasso energy drink. This is a real energy drink. I should only do sponsored movie tie-in ones, but they don't make enough of them. You think that? Anyway, um, or through my Patreon, which is linked below. You get all sorts of cool stuff. There's actually going to be a segment on my Willow review that's just about film critics that I cut out that I was going to have in here, and I realized last minute it wouldn't work with because of the file kind of used. But that'll actually go up tomorrow. But you get things like more power in the movie review vote. You get the results of the movie review vote. There's my commentary series. I send out postcards. You get all Film Rod video cartoons 24 hours early, all sorts of cool stuff, and it's a great way to help me and support the show. And by the way, I in all seriousness, I bought a sound blanket recently because of the funds I have from the Patreon. I bought mics, I bought things, and like it has helped me make the channel better. So don't ever think I've it really does help expand and do, or with the stickers, it's helped improve the channel in so many ways. So thank you very much for that. As well as you should follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribe to YouTube because you get all sorts of updates there. And finally, sorry this takes the Discord, which is amazing. And I'll bring up this one last thing. The Discord is pretty amazing. They do watch alongs. There's an Ask Jim channel, all that stuff. There's one thing for the, and it's run amazingly well by Austin Zane Powers. But I want to bring this, and Cornbread uh, does a thumbnail prediction of the movie crap live thumbnails. But I have these Mando cards for my novelty playing card channel, which is a real channel on my Discord. Um, but because I lost these for a few days, I actually opened a different set of cards because I thought like Oscar had, like, because he likes to throw things in the trash and stuff, had gotten rid of them. So there are actually two sets of cards I got now. So novelty card channel is going to be blowing up this week, guys. Get get hyped. The Discord is in the description, but as well Izzy. But yeah, novelty card channel is gonna blow the fuck up, you guys. I know, like Mr. Beast is envious. I heard. Markiplier, he might be on the sex thing, but he's not. What's it called? Sorry, you got who? No one on YouTube has a novelty card chat like I do. No one. I'm gonna say that right now. Oscar likes to throw things in the trash. You say. Anyway, sorry. But the Discord's fun, and if you like the people in the chat and you're like, I'd like to hang out with them, you can. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They ask questions every day. You get to tell me stuff I should talk about during the show. I'm not going on about my own nonsense personal stuff. So let's get into it. The Barbie teaser trailer came out, was it yesterday? I think so. So, here's the thing. I actually really like this trailer. I think it's great. My one question is, so if you didn't watch it, I am excited for the new Matilda. I think Sophie's damn excited we're gonna watch it. The thing with the Barbie trailer, now this is the big thing for me, is like they have this 2001 opening, and it opens with Margot Robbie as in the original kind of first Barbie. I think it's the first Barbie outfit. I'm not a Barbie expert, but I'm pretty sure that's what the first Barbie looked like. And she comes out, and it's like 2001. It's this epic thing. But my question is, and then you get a few clips of the movie, like different shots of like the Barbie world, which they won't apparently. Mattel and the Aqua are not friends. If you want to dive into that, which is sort of lame. Like, why wouldn't you just? I think, like I said before, I think Oppenheimer should definitely use that in their trailer. But so is the opening, because was the opening, is that in the movie, or is the opening a specially thing made for the trailer, which they used to do like in the 80s and 90s, which I always thought was really cool. It's like it's like sorry, I couldn't think of OnlyFans. I'm stupid. Uh is my question is, was that made, because it sort of looks like it might have just been made for the trailer. I don't I think Sinram brought this up in the question at the end of the show, I believe, but it's like it kind of reminds me of that, and like, did that happen, that way? And I think a lot of people said it doesn't, but it is. A couple of people are saying it's not in the film or stuff. I don't think we know, but it is a damn good teaser, I gotta say. Like, if you were like, because even if you were like, oh, a Barbie movie, haha, at least it got you to laugh in the theater. It made you go, oh, that's cool, that's funny. I'm sort of into that idea. So I think it was like probably a good teaser, because I know they had it probably go out in front of Avatar, I'm assuming, but Barbie Girl is not going to be in the movie, I'm sure. Um, but I don't know. I really like it. If it is, definitely is. I don't want to give them too much credit until Greta Gerwig personally calls me and says like it's not in the movie. No, until we actually know. But I do think it is a damn good trailer, and it made me hyped. You don't know the plot. It's more just like, here is a Barbie movie. That's all you need to do, and that's all it did, and it did a great job. And there's not much you can really say other than I love that had. I do love like no one, Christopher Nolan and Greta Gerwig in their minds are not going against each other, but everyone is convinced that this rivalry. And I love that Nolan, the guy who like has such amazingly Kubrick envy, the movie that's going against him does a Kubrick reference. Like that's funny. That's fucking hilarious. I almost feel like they're going into it, but It's yeah. I did notice Ryan Welch brings this up. It's co-written by Noah Baumbach, who did Madagascar 3. I did get sort of a Madagascar 3 vibe from it. I know most people want to just give Greta Gerwig the credit, and I'm sure she does most of it creatively, but I did sort of get that vibe from it. To be honest, I thought that as well. All right. Okay, everyone's pretty convinced, so I'm gonna go with that. It's not in the movie, which I hope it's not. All right, so oh no, I do want to go over a lot of the WB stuff, but we're gonna go through the epic nonsense that's going on with DC, which hopefully this. Oh, I don't have charger. Oops, that is not good. Okay, um, I am definitely gonna need to do that. That is, I was like, I think I forgot something, and I just did. So, I'm gonna go get my charger real quick because I don't want to risk this. So I will be right back, and then we will talk about DC. So if everyone needs a pre-pee break, now is the time. I will be literally right back. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I know this is very exciting. I apologize for this. Ah, okay. Sorry. No, it's literally just because I forgot. You ever watch those videos and they're like, streaming 101, and they always go, yeah, you should like always have your charger plugged in. All right. Sorry about that. It was kind of an epic night just getting here. Oh, hey, don't worry, Jim. My mom does that all the time. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga, and cheers to your mom. Cheers. And thank you for the super chat. And thank you to everyone else who has done super chat. That is a sort of into that Ted Lasso thing. I'm sort of into it. I ran. Okay. I did get a haircut. I did also get a haircut. Thankfully, I got a haircut. Grow out my beard. I'm going for the beard thing. Is honestly, what? What do you mean? Is my camera turned off the whole time? I'm very confused by that comment. Okay. What was I? Now I'm worried. Where were we? Okay. Yeah, it was kind of the beard is more also because I always met Zane Powers. Um, it's more because I can never have time to shave with the kids in the morning, and so um, yeah, kind of was like might as well just grow a beard. Okay, so DC, the things that went on with DC recently have been quite insane, and I'm trying to get a lot of the news that happened in the past month. I'm mainly stick on the certain week, but the DC stuff kind of goes past that. So obviously James Gunn and Peter Safran are in charge of DC. They have this week pitched to David Zaslav what they're going to do, and apparently one of those things, first off, is Henry Cavill is out. Basically, even after a couple months ago, we heard he was in. And James Gunn is writing, not confirmed to direct, a Superman movie. So, what happened with Henry Cavill is what I'm going to talk about. First, they also this is sort of a roundabout thing, and I think James Gunn, who's tweeting a lot about this stuff, uh, is kind of like I don't know. Some people have mixed feelings about that, and I do too because he called out a journalist, which I think I don't like that kind of stuff because the thing with movie journalists is they have various sources. They sometimes get information at one point, and at the point they get it, it's true. I don't think their sources, usually sources aren't fucking with them. It's just like, oh, I got this information now. And they're like, okay, this is what I heard at the time was the right info. And maybe they heard info that was weeks old. Maybe they heard info which was true at that point, but then they had another meeting later that day and they changed it. So it's like when people do that, I think they're like, oh, these people are frauds or they're making them up. Oftentimes it's not that they're frauds, it's just like they were misled and they had a confirmed story and they had a confirmed thing and then that got changed. So like don't be weird. Like let's just I'm I don't know. I didn't love that. However, so the thing with Henry Cavill and with this how he handled it was basically like Henry Cavill's out, but we met with him, we want to work with him in the future, as well as the thing with Ben Affleck saying they want Ben Affleck, they want to talk to Ben Affleck about directing, or they've talked to him. The Ben Affleck thing and that is interesting in its own right, and I'll get to that. But here's the thing with Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's manager is The Rock's ex-wife, who is also The Rock's manager. Um, they pulled Henry Cavill back in with the hazelnut too. Oh, nice one. Cheers to you, Austin. Cheers. Um, thank you for the super chat. That was good, Austin. That was good. You surprised me. They have the same manager, who was The Rock's ex-wife. So there was a financial interest in Henry Cavill coming back to Superman in The Rock's own team. So to me, when you learn that, it kind of makes you go, wait, hold up. It's almost like you didn't really care about the Superman thing. You just knew that the people you were in direct, relationships with would profit from him making another Superman movie. So you would get your in theoretical 10%. There's that. I also think The Rock, who, by the way, I find it interesting this fact, and I want to bring up a fact to that fact, is Henry Cavill um is sorry, The Rock turned down Black Adam having a cameo in Shazam. I don't think anyone should turn down cameos to Shazam, which is also what Henry Cavill did in the first one, which was a cool cameo actually. I thought that was a really lame decision on his part. They should have been in, like, you should be in Shazam. Shazam is it seemed like The Rock wasn't really interested in DC. He just wanted to have a superhero thing and saw the money. And I'd long thought if you were a celebrity, if you did a character no one's heard of, you could like kind of buoy it with your celebrity status. But didn't really work. Also, make a good movie. Black Adam. I know some people like Black Adam. I don't get it, but they do. Um, so Henry Cavill kind of, because of the chaos that was going on at DC at the time, and The Rock, there was such a power grab, and The Rock kind of just did this. Henry Cavill got kind of caught in the crosshairs of the whole thing, which has happened to him several times in this. I I think I think it's unfortunate for him, but and a lot of people feel bad for him. And he left The Witcher apparently also because he didn't like the direction the show was going, so he might have left. It seemed like he was having problems. He wasn't really happy with the show at that point. So it wasn't just Superman, but I think he thought, oh, and I'm going to do Superman. Well, it didn't happen. So I feel for him on that. I think they could have maybe, announced, like, people are like, who should he play Lex Luthor? He's probably not going to be James Bond. He's too old at this point. But I'm curious if he is somebody in the new DC, whatever it is. Which, by the way, the DCEU thing is funny because DC doesn't even call it the DCEU. They just call it DC. But it's like MCU, that's a term Marvel came up with. DCU is a term no one's sure who came up with that. But he's got Warhammer. I think his manager and agents were probably looking for something because he has every right to fire them. So I hope it sort of works out for him. The Superman movie that James Gunn is writing is one that is going to be about a Superman, like a young Superman. It's not going to be an origin story. It's going to be a young journalist at the Daily Planet. Um, we don't know who's directing it. A lot of people think it's most likely James Gunn because he was pitched that when he first came to DC to do the Suicide Squad. That was one of the things they wanted him to do. I think there's a strong chance that he will. It makes sense. They might not want to do that before Guardians 3 comes out or whatever. Maybe they want to see what Guardians 3 is like. Maybe it's that, but we'll see. Staying powers, will they get Dean Kane back as Superman? I don't think so. Although he was one of the Supermen I grew up with. Although he's embarrassing as all hell. But cheers to you, Zane Powers. That was a good one. But we'll see. A lot of people think Austin, whatever his name is, who played Elvis, who's hosting SNL in 20 minutes. I think I don't think that's a bad assumption because the studio has so much money in him and they're so pro him, particularly with the Oscars and stuff. That's like makes total sense that they would want to Austin Butler, I believe. They would want him to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I think there needs to be more coming out. We don't know much about the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman script, which I believe is getting delivered soon. Um, or so we heard forever ago. And then not going to be messed with as well as Matt Reeves' Batman. Um, but before we get to Wonder Woman, the thing with Ben Affleck, which is interesting, and a lot of people brought this up, Ben Affleck might want to actually direct. Um, why would he want to direct a DC movie? But a lot of people brought up he just recently formed a production company with Matt Damon, and why wouldn't, if you have a new production company, why wouldn't you want to direct a superhero movie and make a ton of money for your production company and be able to do other stuff? Wouldn't that be a good way to kick off your production company? Is have yourself associated with a certain franchise? And Ben Affleck for a while, and I think people forget about this because it's been a while, when he was doing when he was really hot, when he did The Town and Argo, and before he got the Batman, which I think sort of fucked up the whole thing for him. He was in the running to do Force Awakens. He really was trying to do big stuff, and I think he is a really good action director. I mean, The Town and Argo are fairly really good, very Hollywood kind of thriller action movies. So I don't think it's beyond his stuff, but I hope he does that. I think that would be cool. If we had a comeback, kind of Ben Affleck movie. He's not like my favorite director or something, but like the times I've rewatched The Town, especially, I'm like that was pretty good, and like Argo's pretty good. Like he's a good director. Like I think that's something maybe he should reconsider. And I mean, I still think he could have made a good Batman movie, to be honest with you. But I think if he wanted to do like somebody else, like a Green Arrow or something like that, it could be good. So Wonder Woman. Also, okay, before we get to Wonder Woman, we won't actually know anything further than Henry Cavill's not in it, Ben Affleck, and the Wonder Woman news until January, when James Gunn and Peter Safran reveal more to the public. But I've heard Austin Butler is rumored to play Human Torch. I've also heard like Diego Luna might be like Mr. Fantastic, and this person that I don't think, or his agents want him to play Human Torch. We'll see what's going on there. I don't know. I think Superman would be a better role than Human Torch. So it might be they have to give it to him earlier because Marvel Fantastic Four is more of a go than X-Men. And if you have a choice, do you do Human Torch or do you do Superman? I don't know. We'll see there. What happened with with Wonder Woman 3 is interesting because Patty Jenkins, I think a lot of people have used like that they didn't like um, Wonder Woman 1984, which is valid. Um, that everything to do with her leaving Rogue Squadron, but apparently she did turn in a plot, basically a script treatment sort of thing. I'm not sure how, it didn't seem like a script, but like what she was going to do. And the studio before Peter Safran and James Gunn came in sort of rejected it, and it didn't go forward. Um, I don't know. It seemed like, and that was one of the three that were safe until they got the script treatment and chose not to do it. That kind of sucks because they know they were going to bring Linda Carter in more and stuff like that. And then I don't know. She released a long statement and it just seems to be a bit of a mess. And she seems also that she says she will get to come back and do Rogue Squadron. I hope that's true because that seemed to be a very personal thing to her. Because she left Rogue Squadron, she says, because she didn't want to lose Wonder Woman 3, which did actually end up happening. Whether Gal Gadot will still be Wonder Woman is up for debate, but Ben Affleck's cameo, as well as Gal Gadot's cameo in The Flash, supposedly have been cut. Maybe they didn't work. Some of this is like, are we getting this information in a weird time? But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, Wonder Woman 3, it doesn't look like it's happening at all, and Patty Jenkins in one of the safe DC projects fall apart. So part of me thinks these safe DC projects aren't as safe as we think they are. I think the Ta-Nehisi Coates script, it almost feels like there's too many big people associated with that. It almost feels like same with Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves Batman, I don't think will be fucked with. The main question is, will Pattinson be in the DC universe, or will the people keep saying that means there'll be another Batman? I don't actually think that. I think they might just not have a Batman for a little bit in those movies. But I can imagine they're talking to Robert Pattinson and stuff like that. But we'll find about that, figure out about that. Hello, Alex G. Raff. And yes, we are having a lovely Christmas time. Thank you. So that's what's going on. All the DC stuff. I'm going to drink some water because that was long, and then we will get to WB. So WB, HBO Max, Discovery, whatever, is continuously in a mess. I think the big thing that happened is Westworld, the Minx, and the Nevers were all are going to be taken off the service to not have to pay residuals. I'm not exactly sure how residual structures work with HBO Max and all that, but they say they're trying to save money and they want to save up to $1 billion. Supposedly, they're moving all these to what are called FAST, which is free advertiser supported television, or Pluto, or as I used to just call it, fucking TV. I don't know why. This is the worst term. I've actually thought about making shorts of like what is fast, what is. Probably shouldn't reveal that, but whatever. I've thought about it. That's supposedly what they're doing. Westworld, of the three, the Minx I barely heard of. The Nevers I've noticed no one's gotten upset about. I've seen no tweets are like, but the Nevers, like nobody wanted that. It was a Joss Whedon show that he got kicked off of that no one was sure was going to be back in season two. And then Westworld sort of just kept falling and like falling in numbers and stuff, and they spent so much to make it the next Game of Thrones, and it just didn't happen. uh I'm it seems like they're going to be cutting more and more shows over the next 2 years. So I just think they should come up with something that makes them money. I would like an announcement of something that's like happening. I know like the Sex Lives of College Girls got a season pickup. What's going on at Cartoon Network, which I'll get to after that, seems to be optimistic. But and the service Cornbread brought up is going to just be called Max, which sounds like the kid from Where the Wild Things Are, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The one thing through all this that I find the most intriguing about both this WB thing, before I talk about the Cartoon Network thing, and DC, is that people go, oh, well, I don't want to watch Westworld now because I know it doesn't have a conclusion, or I don't want to watch Aquaman 2. I've heard it referred to as a lame duck movie, or Shazam 2, because it doesn't count in the cinematic universe. I'm 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 so confused by that, because it's just like so like you wouldn't watch like Freaks and Geeks. Like I saw on the hot mic with Jeff Snyder and John Roca. He was said to him like, because John Roca wouldn't watch Freaks and Geeks because it's only one season, and Jeff Snyder was like, "You're insane! Like, how would you not watch Freaks and Geeks?" And I've heard that from other people this week. Like, I've heard people say, "I will not see these DC movies because I don't know how they connect." And it's like, what is wrong with people? Like, the cinematic universe, the connective tissue means so much now. You just won't see what I don't know if these are good or not, but you won't see a movie for like enjoyment. It's just like the enjoyment is almost like secondary to bullshitting about continuity. Like I don't that is there's some superhero stuff that I'm like, that's just what cinema is now. That's what movies are. It's fine. But that's one thing that I find really fucking disturbing. Yeah, that that is like, if that's how you're viewing movies and stuff, it's like I read tons of comics, and some of them I just read because I wanted to read an X-Men uh comic, basically, and it didn't have anything to do with the continuity, and they would never refer to it. But it's just like, I find it to be just really stupid. Just watch a thing because it's good. Don't watch it because it's connected to shit. Like it's just like dumb. I don't. If you're doing like a watch along, yeah, sure, just watch. But it's like unless you're that, it's like I don't get that. I don't get that at all. That's weird. I'm gonna be honest. I just find it strange. All right, so Cartoon Network. The current head of Cartoon Network, Michael, name I definitely wrote wrong in here. Um, kind of came out in support, saying, "Hey, we're not as done as like Cartoon Brew in particular said, things like that." Here's the thing about what Cartoon Brew did, and I'm gonna talk about Cartoon Brew in a second, actually, after this. And I don't like Cartoon Brew, but they're a mids kind of thing, and I will. It's not a bad reasoning. Is that if you look at what they're being folded into and what they're responsible for, the original stuff, which was not being promoted under this new assignment, didn't look good. It didn't look good. It did not. All right, it fucking didn't. And if you look at the precedent, it's not a dumb thing to think. Now, obviously, they needed to save face, and they had this guy come out and say, like, we're not dead. These people don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, well, I mean, they sort of did. But the funny thing is one, he's like, we have all these shows, and he didn't really say a lot of them what they are. But the good thing is he talked about, well, um, uh, that they're going to appeal more to age 29 and things like that. They're going to try to make Adventure Time seems to be the present, like the ideal Cartoon Network show, things of that nature, which I think are positives. And but it was kind of weird because he kept bringing up like the I do have a beard, Kyle. That's why, Kyle Garrison. I just find it like it was kind of a weird piece because he doesn't really announce stuff, and then they didn't seem to like fully be like, oh, but we're putting stuff on HBO Max because they seem still tied to the channel. And like when people write about this, I've seen people make videos and go, I mean, what's going to happen to Cartoon Brew? I mean, sorry, what's going to happen to Cartoon Network during the day? And I'm like, literally, no one gives a shit. Like, I would be shocked if the people who made these videos, read these articles, actually watch Cartoon Network during the day. And this is an issue I've had with how people review Cartoon Network ratings and stuff. They're like, these really matter. I'm like, no, they don't. Like, anyone who's a child does not watch your shit on the channel, like, for years now. And, like, I thought they should emphasize, like, what's going to happen to Cartoon Network on Max or HBO Max. That is, to me, the real story. They didn't fully commit to that, which I found a little suspect, to be honest. But if they are going to make stuff more like Adventure Time, if they at least put out this very well orchestrated interview that's not that's not me being a conspiracy person. They set up that shit with Variety 100%. When they did that for a reason, and it does seem like as much as we all don't like David Zaslav, what he's doing with DC, what he's doing Cartoon Network, is going like, what works best. Just do that, please. Just because AT&T was like this clusterfuck of, hey Ace, how's it going? This clusterfuck of like, let's make a million different shows and appeal to all these things. And I think Zaslav is what I'm starting to understand about, other than just cost saving and being an idiot. Um, they He's being like, what works for us the best? Just do that, please. Just do that. And that's like, it seems like Cartoonito they don't want to get rid of. And frankly, Cartoon Network got away for a long time not doing preschool stuff where there's a lot of money. And Bat Wheels is performing well, even though it doesn't have merch, which I find bizarre. But yeah, it seems like Cartoon Network is trying to say we are doing things, but to me, it's like, make an announcement and show me a trailer, dude. Like this, you have 29 shows. What are they? What, like, premiere a show in the next year and then I'll shut the fuck up about your demise. Don't go, I mean, I thought it was ridiculous. I'm like, really? Because if you read precedent and what you're being combined with, it kind of made a lot of sense. So I think, I hope everyone's like, oh, this is, he's saved it. And I'm like, in what way? Like, he hasn't done anything yet. Like, it's like, nobody's sitting around like going like, before you do the dishes, be like, oh, great job cleaning the kitchen. Like, he isn't, in my mind, he hasn't done anything. Like, he's done stuff, he's building to stuff, but like, I'll say he's a good CEO when he's done it. You know what I mean? He hasn't done that yet. He's just done an interview, And I'm glad he's developing stuff, and I hope he does a good job. But as of right now, he's just like, if he wants to, be more about animation and not just kid stuff, then fucking do it. I don't think I think it's a bad way to put it. And I'd like him to see a do a good job of it on Max or whatever it's gonna be called. So, here's the thing with Cartoon Brew. Obviously, I am. Uh, I guess I'm not gonna like what they did, and you probably figure out why. Um, so I don't like Cartoon Brew like ever. I don't like how they cover animation. I feel like YouTube is better at covering animation than Cartoon Brew. And I know a lot of people are like, just ignore them and unfollow them. And that's what I did. I also did write to their two advertisers because I was not happy with them to that which I've never done. But I thought what they did, um, which I almost don't want to talk about, but I find it the fact that they doxed, my someone I know is not exactly something I'm happy about. Um, but yeah, they basically took something that was in a real. If you don't know, Hollywood Reporter does a thing where they'll be like, "Oh, Ellen sold a house or bought a house," and it's very popular. I have no clue why. But it's one thing if it's like Ellen who has security. I assume, I don't know, or The Rock or like Matthew Perry or something. But they did it with I guess Rebecca and Ian had bought a house or something, and they did it with that house, and they publicized it in in that thing, and that went up in October apparently, and then Cartoon Brew decided to make it a post, I guess a couple weeks ago. My thing with that is a twofold thing here. One, like what the absolute fuck? Like they're not people who are The Rock or Ellen. I know to some of you, yes, but like they trust me, they don't have that security team, and that's really inappropriate. Especially because if you read most of the things that are being bought and sold, it's I don't think it's the same degree, and I thought it was a little much. And it just seemed to be like a site finding anything to post that day for the original site. The other thing is like, and Cartoon Brew knew what they were doing. They knew they'd get a lot of clicks because of those names, and they invaded someone's like address and like personal security. And I thought that was like not cool. And I know they've done like some things like I actually looked up because they said we've done articles like this before, and that is actually not it's not a lie. They mostly do it with like studios and animation spaces. They have done a few animators who are selling their homes, but nothing like this in particular. That was new, actually. But even them selling their homes is weird, and it's like you could have done it like, oh hey, look where Chuck Jones lived in 1972, but he left in 1986, so who cares? That's fine. I don't care. Like no one's gonna get upset. But it's just like the way you're like doxing someone who, that doesn't that's really inappropriate, and I think you should know the line. So I was actually surprised anyone knew Cartoon Brew did anything because I never checked them. And I don't know anyone who does, and I'm a little curious who found. It's like if a tree falls in the woods, will I even notice? And that's like sort of Cartoon Brew. I think Amid isn't so much a journalist and has had certain biases, but also will go to very clickbaity things and is, I would say, the most, I guess, corporate bootlegger. I guess he's the most corporate bootlegger kind of reporter I can think of. Um, but the thing is, animation deserves better. I wish we actually had a Hollywood reporter. I tried a while ago, but I don't have the kind of funds for something like that, but or the time. But I wish we had like a Hollywood reporter or variety, but it was about animation. It covered like, oh, this has a new season. Do you want to read a review of it? Something like that. But we don't have that, and that stinks. So anyway, I don't know. We'll just ignore Cartoon Brew for now. I find it really disappointing, and it stinks because it's like, just why are you doing that? I don't know. It's also weird to see people who used to complain about Cartoon Brew with be part of like one of their major downfalls. I think is kind of funny. All right. So the sight and sound list. I am actually going to talk about it. There were a lot of new things on there, and a new number one. There have actually only been four uh, number one movies of all time. They are actually sort of the list that made the whole idea of Citizen Kane being considered the best movie of all time. That is 100% from the Sight and Sound list, no matter who's telling you otherwise. That is the truth. So the first one actually was Bicycle Thieves, which I think is still on there, but I don't think it's even in the top 10, is it? Where is Bicycle Thieves? What number is Bicycle Thieves? I don't know. I think it's definitely still in there. It's kind of like one of those all-time film classics. But nobody makes videos like, is Bicycle Thieves the best movie of all time? Oh, it's there. The BFI's thing messes up the numbers. It's kind of in the 40s, I think. Anyway, so it was Bicycle Thieves, Citizen Kane, Vertigo, and now the new number one is Jean Dielman, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Brussels, I believe. It's a Belgian France film. It's the first time is the first time that a female director has had the number one film of all time. It is only the second time a non-English language film has won, and it is the first time I think since Bicycle Thieves that a non-classic Hollywood film has actually won, which is amazing. I have not seen this film, which is why I announced my Sight and Sound series because I was like, I was thinking I should just review this anyway. So I have not seen it. I think a lot of people haven't seen it. I think that's amazing because we have a new movie to talk about. Like a new, I find it that exciting. It's like we're all going to see a 1975 French Belgium film. Sounds cool to me. Um, but I think there are some surprises in this. I think of the top 10, I think John Dielman was kind of the big one, as well as the Claire Denis film Beau Travail, I believe, at number 7. Um, and Man with the Movie Camera always gets in there. Mulholland Drive is at number 8. I think that's the newest one, I believe. In the Mood for Love was number 5, which I agree with. A lot of these, I will say, and what I do with all these lists, I don't believe any of these are the perfect list or make the most sense or this is the list. This is like concrete. But if you go through it and you see, and there's a couple of movies you haven't seen or like a film, like even if it gets you a strong reaction, you're like, why the fuck is this number one or something? Just see it because one of the ways I got into film or get into anything is I look at these top whatever lists and um I'll like go, well, I haven't seen that, and that, so I'm gonna do it, and then I do it, and that's what I've done. Like I watched the whole AFI list when I was a kid, which people criticize the AFI list. I think at the time it made more sense because a Sight and Sound list was like cool, but like a lot of the films were unavailable, so you couldn't get very far. Whereas the AFI list, like it could be done back in the VHS era or the DVD era. Um, but yeah, Get Out was on here as well. Do the Right Thing, Moonlight made its first appearance. Portrait of a Lady on Fire was pretty high, which is not surprising, but that's a great movie. A lot of cool ones in here, and Wanda. I think was Wanda new to it. I know a lot of people have been pushing for Wanda lately. I did find it weird. I think Blade Runner is above like the Third Man. Some of the rankings when you get into that, it's like I don't know about. I don't know if I would put um some of this stuff above like like yeah like Sunset Boulevard should be like I get people like Blade Runner, but the fact that we have actual film noir, not much film noir is above Blade Runner, I find suspect. But in animation news, we actually also got Spirited Away and My Neighbor Totoro in there, which is big. Some people are asking what other animated films should be in there. My only ideas, frankly, I actually think the original Pinocchio should be. I haven't. I need to watch the Del Toro one. I'll have a review of that soon. But I think that was a landmark, and I think that would fit into the Sight and Sound vibe. As well as like I would go with one of the classic Disney: Snow White, Fantasia, Dumbo, Pinocchio. Frankly, I think that would be fine. I also think like if you wanted to go more mainstream and want to do animation, I would actually say Spider Verse. But and I was surprised that Fury Road wasn't on here. I'm just kind of scrolling through it. Blue Velvet is in here. Spirit of Beehive, not surprising. Stanley Kubrick had what 3? The Shining, Barry Lyndon, and 2001. Once Upon a Time in the West. But yeah, Get Out was a cool thing. Chunking Express. Anyway, if you haven't seen any of these, I highly recommend just go through here. And there are a couple I would click on, and I actually have to read the descriptions of some ones I hadn't seen because my list of ones I hadn't seen were was bigger, and then I actually read them and go, "Oh, I have seen that." Okay, oh, whoops. Which happened with the what was it? The bailiff. I can never remember it, but the I can never remember its actual name. Man, 400 blows I think should be higher. I don't know, but it's not my list. But I'm excited to go through this list, and it's pretty cool. I Mesh of the Afternoon was higher, and I'm actually the one thing I will say that I'm happy with is oftentimes when there be things that are like uh about female directors and stuff, they usually pick films that are basically like, oh, you didn't know women could. They mainly pick Cats from Bigelow, particularly when she won Best Director, but they don't pick like films that are. I've always felt, and I'm sure this is like what you all really want to hear a white dude talk about female directors. But what I always felt was, don't just pick like, Ida Lupino did The Hitchhiker, and that's great, and I love The Hitchhiker. But why don't we do Agnes Varda and like people who had a totally unique female voice. And one thing they did with the number one pick and like Meshes of the Afternoon was number 16. Stuff like that I think shows like a unique perspective and shows actually like the Meshes of the Afternoon is highly influential for experimental film, and without that uniquely female perspective, we wouldn't have that. And it's like that's what you should be fucking celebrating is like the uniqueness of the female voice in film. Not like although I think Ida Lupino exists with the Hitchhiker. Oh, Ida Lupino did weirder, interesting stuff. So I don't know. I hope this goes more into the art house female directors than we really have, because I think that's a really interesting, beautiful voice that we often sort of neglect to pick more mainstream stuff. And like, let's inspire people with like the smarter, weirder stuff. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I could talk about just scroll through Sight and Sound and talk about it forever, but I don't know how interesting that is for the rest of you. So I will go quickly through this other list of a bunch of movies, which is the National Film Registry. These are things that are picked for preservation by the Library of Congress, and they had a lot of cool ones in here this year. Iron Man, I guess, is the one that's maybe the most popular, as well as this is a list I like to go through every year because they always pick like there's the headline ones, and then there's always like some interesting classics they pick as well. But the one thing I like the most is they picked um, John Waters' Hairspray, which is Divine's last movie, and Little Mermaid, which came out within it's the '80s Hairspray. Don't worry, everyone. John Waters' Hairspray, and then the Little Mermaid, which has a very Divine influence character. And I was like, I love the representation of like kind of the last two kind of film stuff of Divine, which is I thought was really great. That they both got inducted in the same year was cool. Other things on here that are notable, like When Harry Met Sally, um, was a big one. I think for most people, there was Cab Calloway's Home Movies, which was interesting. That got on there. Carrie, his actual home movies. That's not a name of a movie. Charade, the Stanley Kramer produced Michael Gordon Cyrano de Bergerac, which was the first U.S. version apparently. Okay, House Party, which I thought we were getting a remake of soon, but I guess that's not happening. Iron Man, of course. Little Mermaid. There we go. Pariah, which I think was the most um, newest thing. There was a documentary on Charles Mingus, which if you haven't heard Charles Mingus, he's the best. And a Mardi Gras Carnival from 1898. I love when you get the real old shit. That's when you get some cool stuff. Scorpio Rising, Superfly. Yes, Superfly was the one I noticed the least shit about. Like, well, Superfly is a great movie. Come on. Um, Anyway, I think that's all of them. This is just like me. We should just make a stream of me going through all time film lists and going, what about this one? Why is that higher than this? But I always like scrolling through that because they always have some interesting picks in there that people don't talk about. But like Superfly, that's like it's one of the best Curtis Mayfield albums. As well as it's a movie apparently. All right, so in things that I think you guys might be, how much time do we? Okay, I guess we need to wrap this up kind of soon because we have like an hour left. And oh, hello, hello. Austin says home movies should be on there, especially the Franz Kafka rock opera one. Nice, nice, Austin. Cheers to you. Um, okay. Sorry, this is like. Well, I guess it is what it is. All right, let's talk about Oswald. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to talk about Oswald. Oswald, the same day as Sight and Soundless, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit finally, after so long, like literally like 100 years or something, came back. They've been hyping this up forever. I'm curious if Bob Iger had something to do with this, but we finally got the first short of him online. It was basically him jumping back onto the screen. It was beautiful. We had that. We had an ad in Times Square that someone who works with Disney actually posted. It's just like, why couldn't you get better video then? If you whatever, when you learn actually who it's from, you're like, oh, that's kind of lame. But whatever, whatever. There's an ad in Times Square. I did not see the ad in Times Square, as well as the Givenchy ad, which is a fancy clothing line or something. That was actually okay. I will give that credit because Oswald is in it and he's dancing with these people, and these people are coming into a cartoon world. And that was the Alice shorts from the old days, which Oswald was a bit of a contemporary to. So if that is what they were doing, I give them credit. I'm happy that Oswald's back. I would like to actually see something on Disney Plus, like what's going on there. But it was like a huge film history day. Like Oswald came back. We had a new number one in the Sight and Sound thing. Those are like big deals. Like for that to happen on a big day, that was literally insane. It's one of those like all time, once in a lifetime kind of moments there. I don't think people truly appreciated what happened that day. But it's cool to have Oswald back. I hope whoever did the Mickey shorts, they get in charge of it and they do something like that. I think there's a lot you can do with Oswald, but if it's just like he's going to do ads and quick shorts, like let's see what goes on from here. But I think they should do more. I'm hoping Bob Iger does more because that was one of his big things. That's not a joke. Like for the Disney family, that was one of the big things that he got the Oswald rights back. So I do hope now that he's back before he leaves again, like give us some more Oswald shorts. Give us one that can get nominated for an Oscar. I think that would be a very nice like little wraparound thing. Like you brought Oswald back. You brought Oswald back. I like that they're utilizing him and using him more. But like, let's do. I know there's been some merch and like some references, but it seems like they're building to something, and I hope what that something is cool. But right now, it's like that was pretty insane to me. I did not expect him to just come back. I thought they just kind of like went, I don't know, I don't care. Like it felt like that, but now it feels like they're building to something, And I think that's cool. I like that. I like that he does seem a very Felix the Cat ish. And I guess since no one's really doing much with Felix the Cat, like I wouldn't mind that kind of era surreal, interesting shorts. I think people would be into that now. So I hope they get to do it. There's not much to say about it, to be honest. It's just like there was the short, isn't that cool? There's a Givenchy ad, and I brought up the Alice. There's the Times Square thing, but it's like, what is this building to? I think that's the big question right now. But the fact that it was like the first Oswald short in 90 years, like that's insane. Did anyone review what the last Oswald short was? Oh boy. All right. Or is it the last Oswald short with Disney's involvement? I didn't look into that. I should have. All right. Animaniacs, the reboot, is ending on Hulu. It has been advertised as such, the final season. I think that makes the most sense because it was a Warner Brothers property on a Disney streaming service, and a streaming service that was only available in America. I know it's been on TV in other places. And it has done well, but I think those are corporations that do not like to work together. And however this came together, I think they all were like regretted it. I know David Zaslav doesn't like Netflix's payment structure. I can't imagine he's thrilled with Disney. So um, I think it's had a great run. I only saw a bit of season two. It does feel like a show that like when it premieres, everyone's hyped about it, and I don't hear anything. It gets a little more covered than the modern Looney Tunes, but not that much. But I do agree, it's like it's not as good as the old show or anything like that. I've heard some people say like as much as they like it and stuff, but unfortunately, it looks like that is over. Gunball, we heard there's going to be a Gumball season 7. We found this out actually from LinkedIn. Someone said they're doing Gumball season 7. We heard there was going to be a movie, then got canceled, and the new season didn't get canceled. And it doesn't seem like it's a reboot because the person on LinkedIn referred to it as season 7. So we're going to see what's going to happen uh, with that. I'm curious. Oh, hey, not plausible. I'm curious when we're going to learn more and when that's going to happen. But I would like Gumball to come back. I really like Gumball, so that would be cool. Ash Ketchum is actually leaving the Pokemon cartoon. He's been there the whole time, which I didn't know. I assumed they kind of moved on from that. But um I think a lot of people are sad. I heard that the last episode calls back to things that like the first episode and things that Ash gave up and stuff. But to me it's like, first off, like, has anyone been watching it this whole consistent time? That's an amazing run. But to me, it's like, let Ash have a break, and I understand people are emotional about it, and I'm surprised Ash was still doing it. But it sounds like he finally, hey Zodberg, how's it going? It sounds like he's kind of like come full circle. We'll see Brock and Misty and all that stuff. I used to watch that show, and I was like, hey, I find that to be interesting that went on that. But Ash, I think Ash has had a good run. So, so the Gumball movie hasn't been canceled. Okay, all right. I'm curious. That would be good for Netflix, to be honest with you. In other news, what are we? Okay, so let's scroll down. Okay, no. Uh, so there's going to be a new Twister, and finally a Twisters sequel from Lee Isaac Chung, who did Minari. Apparently, the script is about the daughter of Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, and it basically sounds like they did, what James Cameron did in the pitch for Aliens, where he just wrote a dollar sign on Alien. Sounds like what they did with Twisters. Supposedly, Steven Spielberg really likes this script. I do find it sad that I think this is Lee Isaac Chung's like biggest project after Minari, and I like don't love that. But I was, like a kid when Twister came out. I remember it was a big deal. I don't know if you can get that kind of hype around it, but I feel like you could probably get enough millennials in the theater if you did a big enough thing and really show off like those like IMAX. If 3D really comes back with Avatar this weekend and you can sell 4D and stuff like that, this could be something like that. I think would be, you know, I think it could work out. So well, I think okay, Cornbread. I do think it would be good for Netflix. I don't know if Zaslav would be happy about it, but I think it would work well at Netflix. You look at like the Ninja Turtles movie, for example. I think that worked out for Netflix, like stuff like that. But I don't know if it works out for Warner Brothers. I don't really care. But well, I think it might not because he doesn't like working with them. But I think it would go well with that programming block. We also learned this week that Rush Hour 4, Jackie Chan has said that is moving forward. I think if they were smart about Rush Hour 4, they would learn the thing that Hocus Pocus 2 and maybe Disenchantment didn't learn, which is put that shit in theaters because it will make money. And then just like have a huge have it almost promoting the streaming release. I guarantee you it will do pretty well. Um, so the Golden Globes came out. I don't really want to talk about the Golden Globes because I don't know if you heard about Brendan Fraser, but he's not going. And if Brendan Fraser is not going, and Tom Cruise isn't going either, then fuck them, And if they're doing it for moral reasons, then I 100% support that. So I think the problem with the Golden Globes is, do they matter or don't? I'm of the thing of where I don't think how they nominate matters. I think who wins matters because they get airtime and they get to be on social media and they get attention. And there's not much that hurts the people who win. It helps them get nominated for Oscars 100%, whether people want to believe it or not. But I will, and Gerard Carmichael's doing the hosting, which I find bizarre. I will say, of the best animated nominees, the only one, Inua. I was a little surprised that got in there. I didn't see that coming. I really thought, but the others in there were Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell, Puss in Boots, and Turning Red. Not much surprising there. There's not much else to talk about because I don't want to talk about them. And fuck them. So okay, where are we? Okay, so the Muppet Christmas Carol with Love Is Gone is up, but you have to select it in a special version and stuff like that. My thing with the Love Is Gone thing, I think it's like it's fine if fans want that. I think for little kids, it's not really what it's not the song for them necessarily. And I'm not saying all films should appeal to them, but I think if people are thinking it's appropriate for kids and suddenly they're stuck with that thing, I'm happy that they put it. I'm happy that they put it back and restored it and stuff. But I understand why they did that. I'm not too upset, to be honest with you. I'm glad they did it and it's available and it's there. So let's not make too much out of that. I think it's just like most people watch with their families and it's not what they were used to, and it's also that is a very highly emotional song. But I think if you are older and you're not watching with little kids, I think that's I sort of get why they give it the thing. Um, Two kind of quick things, I guess. One is Mystery Science Theater season 14 is happening. It has been announced for 2023. I haven't watched that full episode yet. It's my understanding it sort of makes it act like season 13 is it or something. But um but season 14, I think they weren't going to set up the Gizmoplex not to do more seasons. So but Joel has said there will be a season 14. That's literally all we know. That's it. Um in kind of very Jeff Snyder revealed this and a couple other journalists have been talking about that Paul Thomas Anderson is building to kind of maybe a bigger movie, wants to actually have a hit for once to kind of build up because he's none of his movies make a ton of money, and I think he's starting to notice that it's if he doesn't soon, it's not going to be great for him. So it's about the Jazz Age. We've heard Denzel Washington might be involved for a while, but what we've also heard and what's been coming out is that Leonardo DiCaprio is going to play a different role. We know that there might be a gangster element. We don't know who is Denzel playing a jazz. Was someone who was playing jazz? Is Leo playing a gangster? Is it reverse? I don't know. I'd assume because it's 1940s or Jazz Age, I'd assume Denzel would be doing the jazz, but I don't know who specifically they're using or making the movie about. So, did I say there was second? Uh, I guess I'm gonna keep reviewing it. I don't know. I don't know what the second news was. I'm silly. But yeah, it's interesting that Paul Thomas Anderson is kind of building up to be kind of like a bigger movie and could even have Leo and Denzel, or just Leo or just Denzel. We don't know, but that's kind of what he's thinking right now. Before I do trailers and stuff, it was finally announced. I'm describing this like a Rick and Morty bit. I mean, yeah, it's kind of what it is. There's the new feature from Hayao Miyazaki and of course Studio Ghibli, Jazzy Nights. I like that. Um, is maybe I said about it. Well, I guess I was gonna. I might. I'm not sure after I do season 13 for my channel. At least the one thing I didn't say at the top is I'm going to review the final episode and then do a ranking of season 13. I might take a break, but depending on when I'm waiting to find out when season 14 is going to happen when we know more. I might do like Mystery Science Theater 2000, the movie review between those or something. But I don't know how long of time I have between. So I don't want to say too much about that until I know more. But the Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli thing. So I might have said two. Maybe Austin just picked up on that. I don't know. Um, is going to be called How Do You Live? And we know it's coming out in Japan on July 14th, 2023. Most likely, um, or what? I'm confused. Most likely it will come out in America soon. I'm kind of I think he doesn't want to come out in America because he doesn't want anything to do with the Oppenheimer Barbie thing because he knows it would destroy both of them. So he's like, I can't deal with that in America. So he's like, I can't go against Barbie. So that's probably what's going on there. Right? Probably. And finally, the last thing before Obits, which I hope because these are so far apart, I only have really two people in Obits, and I hope there's other people. Please get mad at me, I guess, and let me know, and I will talk about those. But Avatar and James Cameron. The thing with the box office James Cameron movies, and I've noticed this when Titanic came out, and I followed that at the box office, and I noticed that with Avatar is he's not really a big box office weekend guy. It seems like he might be this weekend because the nature of the box office has radically changed. I know I need to finish season 12. Don't worry. Those might also happen. We'll see. But so we'll see like where. I mean, January you have nothing other than Megan competing with Avatar. So Avatar is like a clean slate until Ant Man, which I totally expected to just be number one. I think Megan is the only thing that could hit it down for one weekend. I think it could just go right back up. Which I think they know it'll just, it'll just make like 30, 40 a weekend and just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. The big thing about China, since China is in COVID lockdown and they did get a Chinese release, I don't think it'll be as much as we expect, but Avatar is huge all over the world. I think still we could see, we could still see it making 500 this weekend, but we'll see. But to me, it's like judging Titanic or the original Avatar on their first weekends and trying to write a box office thing, then you would become very laughable very quickly. So what I think is with Avatar 2 is don't say anything until the holiday season is over. Don't even think anything. Don't look at them and don't tweet anything because it's not worth it. It's you're gonna look stupid. Um, he did make some weird Native American comments about like, oh, how his idea for Avatar 2 was if like the Native Americans could have seen what was going to happen to their people, they would have fought harder, which is which is not great. I think James Cameron's good at making kind of simple genre things. I don't think he's good at thinking complex political ideas or things he shouldn't talk about. And I wish he hadn't said that. But I think it's like fucking ridiculous. So if you see that going around, I do love James Cameron as director. I like a lot of his movies, but I think that is a really unfortunate comment, and it's really hard to get past because as much as you thought like, does he really feel this way about Native Americans? Finding out he does is hmm. Apparently he is actually also this is the final James Cameron news, and then it is Obits. He's going to make a documentary about how Jack and Rose couldn't have sat on the same piece of wood for Titanic. I guess around the 3D release of Titanic was happening around Valentine's Day. I'm just like, dude, I don't I don't know, man. I like the Kiki Palmer bit on the Steve Harvey show. That was the funniest it's ever been. But I'm like, why do we keep debating this? Yeah, I never, when people brought it up, I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it's also like, it, I think I saw a bit of, um, it, 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 there was some bit and it was like if Jack had lived and they're just like fighting in the kitchen all the time. I was like, yeah, that wouldn't have worked out. It's like it works because it's a fleeting romance and he dies, and it's like narratively you don't want him to live. That's why he dies. Like what? I don't understand why people do these things. Like, "Ooh, you're smart. They wouldn't go in the house in the slasher movie." I'm like, yeah, I want to watch the movie where they get in the car and they eat hoagies at the Wawa and talk about life instead of getting stabbed. Like, come on, you know what I'm here for. Just don't. Well, Jack has to die. You gotta cry at the end. Like that's not. I don't want to watch the Titanic where they live and have a shitty relationship and then they get divorced and he like becomes an artist and goes broke and kills himself in the Dust Bowl. Like that sounds the worst. Like I don't. Nobody wants to watch that. Just let him sink. It's fine. All right. Anyway. Moving on. So I only have two in the obits, and a lot of people are saying there's going to be a lot of them, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure who they meant by that. So please, after I get through these two, tell me how I'm wrong. Nice Sodberg, nice. Angelo Badalamenti, who is probably one of the reasons when you think of David Lynch and that score, he goes together with David Lynch better than I think as much as Steven Spielberg and John Williams, as much as Hayao Miyazaki and his composer, as much as like almost anyone, but it's just so matched together and the dreamy, strange quality to it. I used to have the, or I still have the CD of the soundtrack of Twin Peaks, like just that dreamy, odd, strange quality to it. You wouldn't have gotten that without Angelo Badalamenti and everything from I've listened to so many of the soundtracks without him, and I think we really lost one of the great, unique composers of film and TV, probably of all time. I think that is a major fucking loss and a hard one to get past. Really, I think that's a major voice in music and Just one you take for granted, but I have so many memories of just like zoning out listening to that kind of thing. I've like the one time um I was the kind of I married two people. I was ordained. I'm an ordained minister and only in New York. So if you want to get married, I can do that. And they played it, and it just has this like beautiful quality, but this surreal quality. But you feel like you're in a daze and in a dream. And man, it sucks we won't get more from him. But what we got was what he could do with music. Just brought your brain alive, you know. And then the other one is Bob McGarth, Bob McGarth. I'm sorry, Ryan. One of the longest lasting members of Sesame Street. I was shocked to find out he was 90 or in his 90s when he died, but he's been around for so long. He's made such an impact on so many children's lives and such a huge influential franchise as um, Sesame Street. It is. I mean, it is shocking how how well he held up during that, but it is sad that he's gone. And I hope um, watch the older ones you can watch on HBO Max. I think are oh boy, look at you 69mega.com. Uh are worth checking out, but to see like how much more media trains are, how he changes as a performer and how much he gave to us through those things, and just one of the great educators, one of the great performers, one of the just great people for being with Sesame Street from all those times. And yeah, I will definitely miss him. Okay, so I'm gonna use the bathroom. I only did one segment because I thought I didn't have enough time to like really do a second segment, and I thought maybe Sophie would watch Sonic Prime with me, but she didn't, so I didn't get to do that. But we didn't really have time, and anyway, I don't think it would have been good. Yeah, 69 mega. I agree with you. I prefer naked HD of the two the two bots in the chat. I'm with you on that. All right, we're gonna talk about Too Many Cooks mainly because, by the way, it wasn't this random thing. I'm not sure. I am going to review this thing, the Adult Swim Yule Log or the Fireplace, and because of that, I've heard a lot about the director Casper Kelly of Too Many Cooks. So I thought now would be the time to review Too Many Cooks. I'm not sure if people know that, but anyway, everyone behave, I guess, while I'm gone. Behave yourselves while I'm off, and then yeah, I'll be right back, and then we'll do Too Many Cooks, and then we'll do questions, and yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, all right, cool. I'm gonna mute this. So yeah, please behave, I guess. All right, cool. I see someone has made hold on. Whoa. Where's the chat? Someone's made a list of. Okay, hold on. Uh, I don't know if I'd have much to say on. I didn't know about Helen Slater Hughes in Parks and Rec, but R.I.P. as well. And Greg, no, I'm not the biggest schoolhouse rock person. I watched a little bit, but I will say that was I think one of the biggest ones. Uh, I think one of the biggest shows of all educational shows of all time. And I think what they did explaining that stuff to people was pretty commendable and amazing. But I don't have as much to say about that, unfortunately. But yes. All right. Before we get into it, I will. Oh man, I thought I was gonna say something else. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Well, first I want to say, please check out the sponsor of this show if you need a quick Christmas gift. HotSpotShield.com. If you click on the link below and order it through there, it will help um, support the show and all that stuff. And also, it's a good quick Christmas gift. And but please use the link below. It helps support the show and all that stuff. And you save 77% apparently today. All right. I'm going to drink this because we had a good amount of super chats, but there's still some of this in here. Oh, I remember what the other thing was. So I don't know when um uh the next um show will be. I know it won't be in the next 3 Saturdays. So I would say at the earliest it would be the 14th, but I'm not sure. And I also don't know when the nominations will be announced. So I would like to do one stream that's just news and do separate streams for Oscar shit. Because I feel like there's some of you who do want to hear about Oscar shit, and there's some of you who don't. So if you don't, you can just watch a regular movie crap. And if you do, you get an extra one. So that's kind of my plan. I want to actually cover the Oscars. So I don't know what nomination day is, but I don't know what day I would do the regular stream yet. Um, maybe the 21st, maybe the 14th. I don't know. I'll figure that out at a later date, but I'd assume the next one would be around there, just to be um, clear on that. I know I don't ever give good dates, but I think in once I know the Oscar schedule, I realize I didn't figure that out. Medela Butterfly. Not too many plans. I mean, it's just I think we're gonna see Santa soon with them do the Santa lap thing, and just getting Christmas gifts and getting things together and all that stuff. But I think I don't know. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be. I'm excited. Excited to just have some time and watch some movies. And I need to get. I think we're gonna watch Strange World. I know that, and I need to show our first Puss in Boots and see if we can get her. Nominations are January 24th. What day is that? That is a Tuesday. Okay, I can see a 14th and a 24th. That might work. That might work. Let's just say I might do the 20. Let's just say let's say we're gonna do that. Let's just like until there's a full announcement. But let's I think that would work, right? Okay. So oh, what Mattel Butterfly? What was that? Anyway, now I'm curious. All right. I'm sorry to call you out like that. That wasn't cool of me. All right. So let's talk about Too Many Cooks. This is a weird. It has a weird aftertaste. This Ted Lasso drink. Okay. So Too Many Cooks. This was written, created, and directed by Casper Kelly, who's worked on things like um, Squidbillies, all sorts of different Adult Swim shows. He came up with it. It actually took him about a year to do all the posts, and it's only 11 minutes. What I find interesting about this one, it was long ago enough that I don't think Adult Swim either had a YouTube channel or weren't as active, and someone else posted it, and that's how it initially became viral. And I remember when I first watched it, actually, because when I started, as it kept going, I was like, when does this ever end? Like it just felt like eternal in a way in the strange, like once it gets to the sci-fi elements and stuff, we're just like, what the fuck is going on? But it basically starts as Too Many Cooks. It's like this song, it goes Too Many Cooks, whoa, and it starts as like a Full House era step by step sort of thing, and then it just slowly like devolves. There's like too many characters. The parents are making out with the wrong people. There's like way too many things, and then a killer played by William Tr- Tarkarowski, I think, comes and like slashes people and stuff. And then he's in the background. He's there too much, and you sort of like lose your sense of reality as it starts to break itself down. He starts going after a girl, and her kind of actor name that's in those logos in the yellow text that was in Full House. It follows her, and he finds her because of the text, and then he's like eating them, and it becomes a sci-fi show and a cop show and all these things. And the song "Too Many Cooks" just keeps changing and evolving and devolving and stuff like that. There's so many different theories on this, and I have two ideas on this. Is that if you've ever watched, I was a kid. Oh, cheers to you, Medela Butterfly. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Thank you. I was watching this and taking a lot of notes, and then I went, wait a minute, this sucks. This is not the experience with Too Many Cooks. And I restarted it, and I just watched it throughout because I think part of Too Many Cooks, and I've talked about this with a lot of things, but I very much think with this is the experience of Too Many Cooks. It's of watching it and having it evolve and go from one thing to the other, and you have to watch it from beginning and the end, and going through and deciphering it is not the magic of it. The magic of it is going from one end to the other and finding yourself through it. And what I really think is like I was a kid, I love, by the way, I love Smurf. I love the Roseanne reference, all that stuff. But and although I do think the only time it becomes a little too Adult Swim is when you have all the William Tarkarowski or whatever, a million of them with knives in the sci-fi thing felt very like right out of Aqua Teen. But other than that, it's my only time where I'm like, the other times it's like its own weird Adult Swim thing. That's when I'm like, you went too typical almost. But just that one shot. But like I was a kid who in the summers I would just watch TV from when I woke up. So when I went to sleep, my mom hates when I bring this up, but I would just like watch an incessant amount of television. And I would just like find sitcoms and shows, and like if I was home from school, that was like all I would do. It's like no one would let their kids do that now to the degree I was doing it. It was just like a constant swarm of TV. And there's a Weird Al song actually that's a parody of a Soul Asylum song. I don't remember the Soul Asylum song at all, but it's called Syndicated Incorporated. It sort of gets the vibe of that. This reminds me of that because the utter, especially when I was older, utter surrealism of to that point where you're just like in this like world and you start questioning your taste and you're like, well, I don't want a sitcom. I've watched 7 sitcoms and they're all the fucking same. And you almost like blend them together in your head. Like you can't tell the difference between Danny Tanner and, what's going on Family Ties or something. You're like, who is the mom? Who is this? And then you're watching a sci-fi show, and I almost think what the killer is a changing taste of a viewer who is just watching incessant TV. And you almost like, I'll flip over to a cop show, I'll flip back, and you'll see sometimes because you watched enough, like there weren't as many things of television. You just like, or as many actors, you'd see an actor pop up in a couple of them as a supporting role, or they'd have a bigger role in one in the same day, and your mind, or my mind at the time, would almost feel like you're watching like parts of history disconnected from one another. I also remember like losing the plot in these. Like if you ever watch that show, MTV's Undressed, and they would flip between plot lines. But if I changed channels during MTV's Undressed, I was not. I would start changing channels and go back to like certain plot lines, but I would forget like was a plot line on a channel or was it on MTV? It would be very confusing. And I feel like this is what Too Many Cooks is. I think everyone's coming up with these weird, insane theories and like fine whatever. I just think it is the surrealism of watching too much stuff and like losing slightly sort of losing your sanity through having your best way to relate to the human experience through people's fake presentations of that human experience. And you almost want to destroy it, you want to rip it apart. You want to say there's too many cooks involved in this and there isn't anything real. But when you come out of it at the end of this thing, what do you see? At the end, you see him accepting all of it together, accepting the nonsense, accepting, like, he's gone. He's like I hate these sitcoms. I have to kill these people. I have to watch sci-fi. I have to watch cop shows. And at the very end of it, he's accepting all of it. He is become part of it, and he's accepted the reality of the falsity of this perception of reality, basically. Um, that's honestly what I think Too Many Cooks is. Also, Lars von Trier as a pie is amazing, and that guy as a coat was cool too. But um, it really did feel like that. But I recommend the Weird Al song Syndicated Incorporated. It's like one of my favorite Weird Al songs, and I don't like Soul Asylum at all. Really, Runaway Train. Hey, it was a good public service though. But this is I really do like the surrealism of this. I really do like the strangeness of this. But what I like about this is I like when you one thing animation does that film is not as interested in overall, which is why I think Adult Swim is so surreal and strange, is that animation believes in like anything is possible through animation. It has this very pure experiment, like in animation, even in Mickey Mouse shorts. There's the idea of experimentation and blending things and blending ideas and doing it in a mainstream level, which film is like only does it if it's like an art house thing. But like in Too Many Cooks, it's like, what are the possibilities we could do with this? How far can we push it? How far can we meld it? How far can we mesh it all together? And does it mean anything to watch all this together? Does it say something about reality and sanity? Or should we accept it? It's like, should we accept our own fate? Should we accept this is how we relate to things? And is it insane? It isn't crazy. And I think making the viewer, in my dumbass theory or whatever, the killer shows like, are we who is he really killing? Is he killing himself? Is he losing his reality? Or is him accepting that a good thing or a bad thing? And I don't think Too Many Cooks answers that. And I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know if there is. But you sort of do have to accept that if you're doing that. And then you sit there and you just look and you're singing Too Many Cooks. And I think, in a sense, this thing could loop over and over again and still have the same meaning. But I love where it takes you, and the experience of it is one of the great. I do think, like Ryan Johnson apparently called it one of the great short films, and I do think it is because it says more about our relationship with media and relating to things that are not um, what our reality is, and not presented to be reality, but something we need that sense of reality in to relate to for them to sell it to us. And is capitalism and commercialism, should that be how we spend our times, what is essentially product? Are we finding real life or real understanding through it, or are we just always, shifting through the product of everything and trying to like kill it and get through it? I don't know, but Too Many Cooks, man. Too Many Cooks. All right, I think that was pretty, you know, didn't anyone expect me to go there? You're like a black Tupac. Thank you. It takes a lot to make a soup. You're right. It does. All right. Let's get to the questions. We might go a little over, but I have 3 Patreon questions. I'm just going to drink some more of this Ted Lasso thing. This was okay. I give this not as good as the Rock thing. I will do the Rock again next time. I like lose a lot of people during. No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, good night, Jordan Slovo. I think Jordan Slovo asked me a question I didn't get to answer, and I apologize for that. Okay. Here are the questions. Okay, so now it's time for questions. If you have questions, please leave them in the chat. But I'm going to do these 3 Patreon questions first. If you are a patron, you do get to leave a question on my post there. So here we go. First one is Nathaniel Foga. What what was it? Okay. What's a Christmas gift you'd usually get each year from relatives and or friends? For me, it's usually gift cards. I have gotten those a couple times. I think usually like something to do with alcohol. I always get like alcohol things that like are noticeably not things I'm into. I noticed that one's a big one usually. Sinram, but I think most people, it's like there's that one relative who always gets you a gift card. You're like, oh, okay, cool. It's like kind of, yeah, I don't know. Sinram asks, Jim, is Barbie the most slamming movie teaser since the Flintstones had its preview before Jurassic Park 1993? I watched. He put a link, and I will put, so you guys, if you are watching this later, um, I'm gonna put this in the chat right now. So if you want to watch it, but it is actually very similar, Sinram. I'm gonna say that, because it has a presentation and then it has like a very quick segment in there of actual footage. Which I forget is in the movie or not. It's been a while since I've seen the Flintstones. What's also interesting is that is almost a little more nefarious because Spielberg actually was involved with Flintstones being made. In fact, like John Goodman, I said in an interview, was like Spielberg was very much into, like, I think they wouldn't make the movie unless John Goodman signed on. They all thought he could do it the best. So, um, okay, but yeah, I do see the. I think it might be the most slamming movie since movie teaser since Flintstones. I will agree with that. But that's an interesting thought thing Sinram did there. Yeah, let's give credit to Sinram on that one. That was an interesting one. Austin, wow, what a great last movie crap of 2020. We sure had some good ones this year. My question for you is, what are you looking forward to in 2023 in terms of movies and stuff you want to make? Stuff I want to make, more film rod video, journal videos, um, the Sight and Sound series, the X-Men thing, all that stuff I mentioned before. I'm excited for that. In terms of movies, I am excited for Megan. I'm interested in Guardians 3. I'm excited for the Oppenheimer Barbie weekend. Um there's probably ones I'm forgetting. If John Waters gets that movie out next year, then I put that too. And I'm excited for season 14 of Mystery Science Theater. I'll say that. Okay. Um where are we? Cornbread was first. Talked with my coworker a few months ago about all the Pinocchio adaptations this year and next year, and I showed her the designs and argued GTA's was too wooden, not boy enough. That's interesting. Oh, is that one of two? Is there another part to that? I'm confused. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Do you have a preference of where he should land on wooden to boy scale, or are you chill with whatever? I like the design in GTA or Del Toro. Let's say Del Toro. Del Toro's thing. By the way, I am gonna watch the special, and there's a moment exhibit. I might try to get a little bit of footage for that, for something. Um, I actually really like the design. If you're gonna go more in the the modern style, I would say the design for Del Toro's worked the best. I think all the other ones looked freaky and weird because they always try to make it look like more of a boy. So if you're gonna do it modern, I'd say go more like Del Toro's. But the classic Disney animated, I think it worked for 2D, but I think everyone else was more like to not to be. You know what I'm saying? All right. Sorry, that was whatever. Not plausible. Would you, who would you have star in a modern day cartoon All Stars to the rescue? Honestly, I would just go with the cast of Jellystone. But let's say I would do, maybe you could do one with the CN, the classic CN 90s thing, and have like one of the Eds, Space Ghost, um, a Powerpuff Girl. You can pick Dexter, um, Samurai Jack, um, who else? Courage, and just throw Scooby in there because why not? That would be a cool way to do it, I think, or just do it with the Jellystone people. I think. Nathaniel Fogel, think you'll ever have a goatee to replicate your not forced look? I never really had a a goatee in real life. I think wasn't the goatee just a pan thing? Was it in? I don't. Anyway, I think it was just an artistic thing. I never, I never really had a goatee. I think I had maybe one for like a day or something, but not. I've never been interested. But I get why you'd ask that though. Embla T, did the Superman Cavill movie die because they were doing another Brainiac movie, The Poison of Superman movies? Apparently it was developed. I didn't get to that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I don't think it was blocked because of that. I think because it was part of a power grab, and that was not the power that ended up, or they were not the people who ended up grabbing the power. Um, I do think if they're going to do another Superman movie, I would not do Lex Luthor first. I would do. I think the way Nolan's thing did the idea of do a movie first, then do a Joker movie works out a lot better in terms of a franchise. I'm hoping what James Gunn does is Lex Luthor's there, but we get a different villain. I think would be a better idea. I would honestly just have it be like the Fleischer Superman shit. Just like I would much rather have like just have him fight a monster. Like why do we gotta anyway? But I do think that sucks because I was like from what I was hearing about what they're developing, I was more for it than like Man of Steel. Which the thing with Henry Cavill, I like him, I don't like any of the movies he was in as Superman. Like, I don't like it. Does anyone actually like those? Like, what a mid existence to think those are good movies. Austin said, since I'm playing as you said, Austin, do you want to play Jimmy Olsen? Okay, sure, I'll do it. I'll play Jimmy Olsen in your Superman James Gunn movie. How do you feel about HBO Max cutting more content in favor of making more Harry Potter movies? I don't think it sounds like they do want to make the what's it, the Lost Child or the Cursed Child or whatever. I think the thing with that, if they do that, is they are about 10 to 15 years too early. I think you have to do it long enough that people will think Daniel Radcliffe will never come back. I don't think people are always like, would Emma Watson come back? I don't. She doesn't really do a lot of stuff, so it's like I know she's a Beauty and the Beast, but like I don't think she's had the. I think it's not in your face as much as like oh she's such a good actress. So I think Rupert Grint would just do it, but I think he's the holdout, and I don't think he will. I don't think he would do it unless it's been a significant amount of time, and I think you're gonna have to pay him a fuck ton of money. Um, but I think the Cursed Child will happen. But I also think you should fire J.K. Rowling. Like, what are you doing? Like, those Fantastic Beasts movies didn't do well. They're not good. Nobody likes them. They're not making money. Like, just figure something else out. I think that TV show they were considering for a while would be a better choice, but we'll see. Not plausible. How long do you plan to grow your beard? For a little bit. I need to get better at like grooming it. I'm sort of new to it. I used to have a beard in college. Uh, I think some people seen those beard pictures. Maybe I'll show that off next time. I don't think it will get to be as big, but I do want to grow it out. I think I'm just a beard guy now. I kind of like this look. Ages me a bit because there's more gray in the beard, but I don't know. I'm sort of into it. I kind of like it. So we'll see about that. But I think it'll. I'm into it right now. So I think for a little bit. Uh, Magneto. What's a movie that you like to watch during the holiday season but isn't holiday related? For me, it's Watchmen, which I enjoy as a guilty pleasure. That's a good question. Hmm. I guess I can't say Christmas Twister, which I do watch every year. I'm gonna say, huh. Um, huh. Man, that is a good question. I can't think of one. I can think of, huh. I watch every year. I guess I listen to like certain albums. I was listening to a lot of like kind of early 80s hip hop and stuff and early 80s pop. I feel like I end up listening to that around this era. Let the Right One In a few times, I guess, which I need to review at some point. I would say that, man, that's a thinker. That's a thinker. That's a good question. Nathaniel Foga, you think the Barbie teaser could possibly lead to film teasers having more original footage made for them rather than scenes from the film? I do actually. I think if it did well enough, I hope it does, but I do sort of think that. Oh, I lost the plot there. Um, I could see that happening. Embla T, you think David Zaslav blocks David Yates in the brain since he believes there was never another Harry Potter movie since 2006? Yeah, I've noticed David Zaslav, like, he kept saying this thing like there hasn't been a Superman movie in 13 years. I'm like, do you mean 2013? Because that was the first Man of Steel. That was the last time there was a solo Man of Steel. Like, people keep saying that there hasn't been a Superman movie in 13 years. I'm like, wouldn't that be like 2008? Like the what? That's not even What? Like I don't know. Yeah, I have noticed he just makes up numbers for years sometimes. It's very strange. Austin, what do you want for Christmas this year? Just to have a couple few good days. That would be nice. And no one gets sick. June J7 Chew 3. Would you ride the roller coaster and step by step intro that's really close to the ocean for some reason? I mean, I do go to Coney Island and they do have roller coasters close to the ocean. But I guess I would. Um oh, interesting. Cineram knows they reviewed the reference to Steven Spielrock in there. Huh. I wonder why. Emla T, do you think the Hollywood implosion has gotten worse because of inflation? I think it's sort of there's a lot of restructuring business wise, and they're sort of trying to figure out the post streaming boom era, and I think that's a lot of what's been going on. To be honest with you, and they're not sure what to do and how to format it, and they're trying to figure out the thing with what they call free advertiser supported streaming and stuff like that. Are you going to wait an entire year to review Megan to match with Malignant? Joking. No, I do actually. I think I'll be probably going to the theater to see that. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hungry. What's for dinner? Pizza. Not plausible. What's the best Emily episode of Mystery Science Theater so far? I rewatched because of Thanksgiving. I rewatched the one with the Mother Crabber song, and I was like, that's better. It the first episode with a new riffer, I do think takes a little bit, and I like that one a lot. I'm still of the perspective that Dr. Mordred is her best one so far. Although I liked the sci-fi one I watched when I had COVID, which might have been her last one. What was the one she did? It was like the shape of the things to come. That one was pretty good, but I'm still with Dr. Mordred. Thoughts on the Rock fumbling the Black Adam numbers? Or fibbing the Black Adam. I should have brought that up too. I think that was kind of lame. I don't think The Rock comes off very good in this story. I think he just comes off as kind of an egotist. A lot of people said he should just make like solid rock action movies, and I think he should consider just that. Like, stop it. Like the comedy stuff, he's not that funny. Like he's funny, but like just make a good action movie. Like Fast and Furious is ending. Just do a solid action movie that's fun. That's what I would say. Like I would much rather have like I didn't love Hobbs and Shaw, but I'd much rather watch that than fucking Black Adam. You know what I mean? It's just kind of lame. Just like let it go. Like whatever. Embla T. Should people have stopped making movies after Lawrence of Arabia? I mean, I don't know if we ever got there again. Uh question. Was it in Knock Force? Now I have to rewatch it. I don't think it was. Was it? Am I people making fun of me? I'm not sure. Should The Rock go to jail for fraud? Absolutely. But it has to be the fight scene right out of Hobbs and Shaw. Cornbread, are you posting more in the novelty playing yards chat or Christmas present this year? Sure. All right, let's do a few more. Telling you if I think you'll ever go to a convention again at this point. That's a good question. I don't have any plans to. I don't think I'll be going to MomoCon this year. I think that's actually what made me think about it. I probably should like soul up the pizza party thing. I guess if I get invited or something, I'll consider it, but it depends. It's just hard. I have like two kids. It's like hard to keep them. Maybe in a few years or something. I don't know, or maybe something around here, but I haven't. I don't know. I don't have a good answer, but I don't think too soon. But we'll see. We'll see. If there's one in Baltimore, maybe. I don't know. But I haven't heard of anything like that. Who would you like to see Superman face off? Um, I do think Brainiac would be cool. I do think a Shazam one would be cool. I do think that could be fun. Like Shazam just keeps messing up and Superman has to fight him. But Brainiac, I would also say, I'm not gonna say Doomsday. Bizarro Superman would be cool. Watch any good lengthy videos this year, Nathaniel Foga. Well, I guess the Funkland thing was pretty amazing. Thoughts on the? Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, did I skip over trailers? I think I did. Shit, I did. Oh well. Oh man. Oh well. I liked it. It was okay. I realized that. Let's see. Someone who hasn't. I try to pick people towards the end who haven't Ghana Crescent. I think that's. Well, let's do two more. Do you think The Rock will go to WWE after the Black? Maybe, maybe. Um, 2070. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's sooner than that. Would you still be interested, Cornbread? Would you still be interested in Detective Pikachu 2? Follow up related question: are you interested in that unrelated live action Pokemon Netflix show? I'm a little interested in the Netflix show. I know Marley made a video on Detective Pikachu. Yeah, I would be kind of interested in it too. I'm a little surprised they didn't. I think everyone thought that was going to be better. Um, Nathaniel Foggy, think Way of Water has a chance to make as much as the first Avatar did? I actually think it does, but I don't think it will. But I think it will still be a hit, if that makes sense. And let's see, one more. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot to. Well, I did like. I was going to talk about Scream, Spider Verse, 65, and Infinity Pool. I think they all look really cool. I think 65 is the most promising, and I'm excited for Spider Verse. And when I showed it to Sophie, she's like, "I want to see that again." So anyway, all right. I think that's it. I think this is a good show. Like the video if you haven't. If you could check out the link for the VPN. That would be appreciated. And sign up and stuff. If you need a VPN, I recommend it. Otherwise, thank you all for the super chats tonight. It's always appreciated. Thank you for getting. I got to drink this drink, I guess. Thank you for watching the channel this year. I think that's really cool. I really appreciate all the views and everything like that. And just for all your support. It's been amazing. And thank you for everyone who is a patron or has given a super chat and all that stuff. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I think there's going to be a lot of Christmas stuff coming out this week. It'll be a kind of a shorts thing tomorrow. And yeah, guess that's it. I'll see you all on stream next year, but you'll see some videos before that. And there might be a cool thing towards the end of the year. Maybe the full What Genre song will hopefully come out soon. But anyway, I hope this was a good show. I think it was, even though I messed up the trailer thing. But regardless, thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching. And I will see you all next time. All right. Good night.